Hi gang, how you doing? Well, here we are. We're heading towards the end of 2020, and what a year it's been. I think all of us are going to remember it, aren't we? We're going to remember it really well because there have been so many life-changing experiences that we've all had. And for me, it's been quite a formidable year. In fact, it's probably been one of the busiest years I've ever had because there's been a real kind of demand for um, companies, individuals to hear some good news. And it's often very difficult sometimes to find good news in amongst all the noise and the clutter that's around you. But let me just quickly just go through what I've kind of learned this last year. I mean, if I just backtrack slightly, normally I post brand new workouts every single Monday, and I've been doing that for a while, and they are going to return in the new year. But right now, I just feel that there is enough there for you to get on with, for you to really kind of bolt them together and do lots of 12 minutes of exercise. But I want to tell you some good news about things that's coming up. But first of all, before I do that, let me just talk to you about what I've kind of learned from the University of Life. I mean, for a start, I became 68 years of age. I then was awarded the MBE by the Queen, which was a great honour for services to the health and well-being of the UK. And it's really nice when you get recognised in that way. And I think next year I'm due to, if this pandemic is ever over, I'm due to actually collect it from the palace. But I've been doing lots of talks about how we put the pandemic into perspective. And I believe that the pandemic is no different to the many hurricanes that we're all having to face in our lives. And if we've not faced it yet, we will do. And that could be just the loss of a loved one, the loss of someone you really care about, a job you didn't get, that thing that you had your heart set on, you didn't get it. It's no different. And I believe that these things form the foundation stone for who we are. And how you cope with it and deal with it is really important. A lot of us have been really stressed, because the government has been stretching us like an elastic band and then releasing us by saying that you can all have more time together, and then it stresses us out again. And for a lot of people, that's really been really tough. But let me reassure you by telling you this. Every autumn, the trees lose their leaves, don't they? But they still stand up tall. And that's because in the spring, they will flower again. And I believe that that will happen to us. And you've got to believe that, because if you don't, you will fall over the edge. And I want to pull as many people back as I can from the edge. The other thing is, and the best analogy, and I've been using this quite a bit, it's a bit like once a week you put your washing on, don't you? And when you put it into the washing machine, you set the timer on it. You then choose the program. You put the soap powder in, you put all the things like your water softener in, and you set it and it gets on its way, and all the clothes get twisted and turned and pulled and tangled, and in the end you hear a little bleep. When you hear that bleep, that tells you it's really kind of come to the end of its cycle. So you open up the door and you take out your clothes, and it was cleaner than it was before. That's what's going to happen to us, and I have to believe that. But also more than that, a lot of us have actually been very neglectful of our health. And I think it's important that we never take our health for granted. That what we do is we nurture it, because we need our health. We don't want when we need our health desperately, it's a mile down the road. We want to, whatever time you're investing in work and in all those things that really matter to you, you must ensure that you look after your health. And the 5 things I've learned this year that really matter is, number 1, having a roof over your head. Because when you've been homeless, like I have been, when I was 23, I was homeless with my daughter on my arm. When you've been there and you're hoping for a handout from the local authority, and they put you in a bed and breakfast, and you've got loads of families sharing the same bathroom, the same kitchen, that brings on loads and loads of issues. But still survived it and worked through it. So I know what it's like to be homeless. So if you've got a home right now, you are very blessed. If you've got food in the fridge, you're twice blessed. I've been there where I've had to make the choice between feeding myself, feeding my daughter. Well, the choice is easy, isn't it? So when you've been hungry and your belly's empty, you know what it's like. Okay, so if you've got food in the fridge and the larder, count your blessings. The third thing is your health. I mentioned that earlier. do not neglect your health. I know that this is our medium now in front of the screen. It's critical that what you do is you set a timer to remind you to get up as often as you can, even if it's just standing up and sitting down. That will get you going. Or just turning it off for a moment and playing some gentle music, so that gives you a chance to breathe. The fourth thing is love. When you're in love, you know how it is. You can work all day, all night, have 1 hour sleep, and you're at it again next day. Because when your emotions are in check and it's really happy and it's stable, what happens is that you can do anything. In fact, it's the one thing that will keep you healthy, can actually make you far more successful, can fill up your fridge, all right, can ensure that you hold on to the roof of your head. But when your heart is messed up, you know what it's like. You can't eat, you can't sleep. So whoever you choose to love, and that's your business, continue to love that person unconditionally. And if you don't have someone you love or who loves you, look in the mirror and love what you see. Because it all begins with you. How can you expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself? And the fifth thing is that I've learned over this lockdown is having a choice is the most wonderful thing. And imagine the government tells you to wash your hands for 20 seconds, right? In some countries, they don't have that choice. They have to drink that water. So count your blessings. Remember, you are rich based not on how many things you have in your home that money can buy. It's all those things that money can't buy that makes you rich. So look after yourself. Remember, your body can do anything as long as you convince your mind that you can. And I believe that the greatest gift that you can give yourself, your family, your work colleagues, all your friends is an independent, healthier you. I've got some friends who are not independently healthy. They're having to get someone to care for them. If you want to avoid it, now is a time when you put in place those things that will make you feel different, those things that will make you healthier. It is never too late to start exercise, no matter what your age. Whatever you do, as long as it's physically active and you do it safely, you're going to get the benefits, because there is a curative power to exercise. There are going to be times when you feel really stressed out. There are going to be times when you feel like you're close to the edge and you just can't go on, all right? But I want you to remember why you started, why you set up that goal, why you were always striving, right? Don't ever forget that, right? Because remember, we're not given a good or a bad life. We're given a life, and it's up to us to make it good or bad. But you can't do it alone. So you've got to look out for each other. And that means when you call up your best friend, James, Julie, John, and they don't sound all there, or they don't want to do anything. They reckon they haven't been out of the house for days. They reckon that they're not really eating, or they're eating too much. Those are all signs that they need help. And I want you to do this. When you call up that person and you detect that something's not right, because you know your best friend, just say to them, listen, John, Julie, Jennifer, you're entitled to feel the way you feel. Give them permission to feel that way, but tell them this, that if they want a midnight cup of coffee with you virtually, you're there for them. If they want you to just sit and listen to them, you're there for them. If they want to go for a walk and you stay on one side of the street and they stay on the other, you will do that for them. Remember, having someone care and helping you does not mean that you're weak or that you're failed. All it means is that you're not alone. And that loneliness is the one thing that a lot of us are having to cope with, and we can all help each other through it. So let me tell you some good news in terms of the future, because I could talk forever about this. I've just set up what's going to be called the Mr Motivator Club. This is going to be an online club, but it's going to be a one-stop place just for you. You know, when you want to get a vegetable pie, you wander to the supermarket, it's all put together, isn't it? Even though you could buy all the vegetables and actually do it yourself. That's the idea behind this club. It's going to have lots and lots of different exercise classes, some that I will teach, some that other people will do, but they'll be like in 3-minute blocks, in 6-minute blocks, in 12-minute blocks, no more. Because the idea is I want you who don't do anything to start with a 3-minuter. And then you bolt it together. Before you know it, you're doing 6 minutes. Or you start with a 6-minuter. And then when you bolt it together, you got 12 minutes you're doing. That's the whole idea, because I want to engage you, the 75-80% who don't do anything. What else do you get from the club? It's not just about exercise, because your well-being encompasses, it needs a whole loads of things to work in harmony for your well-being to make sense. And so that means when you join, you get the opportunity to fill out a physical questionnaire, so we can look at what your physical attitude is, what you do, what you don't do. And that way we could give you a pathway which starts you gently as you break into exercise. And it gives some recommendations. When it comes to eating, we're going to have sensible eating plans, not diets, sensible eating plans. Again, you'll fill it out. And once you've done that, right, we can then give you a pathway that you can follow, give you suggestions for breakfast, for lunch and dinner. There's also going to be a stress questionnaire, because sometimes we don't recognize that we're under stress and we need someone to help us. So when you fill this out, right, it will then give us guidance and help us to give you some suggestions about what you can do to reduce stress in your life, because there's good, bad, and good stress, and there's bad stress. All right. So, but apart from that, on this club, here's what you're going to get. There's going to be chat rooms where you'll meet other people with similar journeys in mind, similar goals in mind. You'll meet lots of people doing demonstrations. Maybe it's on cooking. Maybe it's actually just demonstrating painting. Oh yeah, the other thing we're setting up as well, you'll be able to learn to play an instrument, whether it's just something like learning to play the ukulele. All right. There'll be someone to do, oh, have you always wanted to sing? You'll be able to do that. And this membership is going to come to you for under $6.99 per month. That's what it's going to come to you on. Now, isn't that great? So here's what I want you to do, right? I want you to actually join the club, because trust me, it's going to be the best thing for you. Imagine a club that only costs the cup of a coffee. The cost of a cup of coffee, can't even get the words out. I'm so excited about it, right? Because I think that if you do nothing else, join it now, right? Because it's going to be a great way of you feeling part of this community we are creating. And this community is one that's going to be there to support you. We even got merchandise, Motivator Squad merchandise. We've got t-shirts, all right? There'll be cups that you'll be able to get. There'll be fridge magnets that you'll get. But trust me, once you belong, we're going to always keep on top of it. We're going to regularly check into you to make sure that you're okay. Because one of the problems with a lot of clubs out there is you only ever hear from them when your membership is due. You're going to hear from us all the while, because we want to know that you're keeping with the program and that you're doing it. And we want to remind you that you're not alone. And that's important. So that's the good news, right? For 2021, I'm still going to be around doing exactly what I love to do, right? I'm going to be here to support you. But I want you to join Mr. Motivator's Club. And when you do that, right, trust me, you're going to get the benefits from being part of it. But also, I want you to engage your friends, get them involved as well, because there's going to be so much. We're actually going to be highlighting, by the way, people's life stories. Can you imagine someone who's actually gone through, maybe it's cancer, and they come out the other end really great? This story could be an inspiration to you. Or there's a young man you'll meet who's a one-legged golfer. I met him when he was 9 years of age. He's now in his 30s, right? These are wonderful, uplifting stories. So it's going to be a place that if you ever feel that things are really rough and it's tough and you feel alone, it's a place where you'll be able to just listen to something that may uplift you and make you feel good. So promise me this year that you're going to be always kind to everybody you meet, because you just don't know what battles they may be fighting, all right? So really look out for them. But the other thing I want you to do is this. I want you to actually stand up tall. I want you to take a deep breath, right? I want you to remember what I've said about the trees losing their leaves every autumn, right? Remember that. I want you to just take time out for yourself, because you are very important, right? And remember this phrase, I've been saying it all year. I am flawsome, because we got flaws. We see them, don't we? Other people don't see them, but we see it. But I'm flawsome means a person who embraces their flaws and still know that they're awesome regardless. So listen, have a fabulous Christmas. Have a brilliant new year. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Let me help you throughout 2021. I am the only person you can trust, because I mean what I say, because I've lived it. I mean also what I do, because I believe it brings result. And I want you to enjoy the curative power of exercise. Be well and share the love. Say yeah.